Hi guys, good evening everybody. We are live, so we'll just wait for a few minutes or few seconds for YouTube to notify people that we are live. So please, once you join, just let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me to be sure that good to go. Good evening everybody. Yeah. Kindly just drop a message in the chats, in the comments, and let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me. Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you. Okay, thank you. Hi, Omolara. Hi, Femi. Hi, Tunse. Hi, Adeola. Hi, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Fashobo. Oluwayinka Fashobo. This name sounds familiar. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Bumi. Hi, Justina. Hi, Mega Joe. Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. I think this is our first live stream for the year on YouTube. So, Happy New Year, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to today's live stream. How have you guys been? It's been a while. How have you all been? What's going on? I've got something exciting to share with you in today's video, as you can see from the title. So please join in and do well to share this live stream as well so others can join us. Um Happy New Year, Zube. How you doing? Hi, Jules. Hi, Emmanuel. Hi, Christian. Christian. Hi, guys. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. It's good to have you all here. I can't see you, but it's good to chat with you all. So, good evening, guys. Hope you had a great day. My day was just there, slow and chilled, nothing much. I was just indoors today. All right, guys, and we just get started. I can see over 70 people here, so I think we're good to go. Um, I'm not here alone. Like I said, or as you can see from the title and from the thumbnail of the video, we have something to share with you, and I'm not going to do that alone. I have somebody, very beautiful face, who is going to be telling you about it. This is basically for healthcare workers, but if you're not a healthcare worker as well, please stay with us because you could get the information and pass on to your loved ones that would need it. Okay, so if you're a care worker, support worker, you're basically in the healthcare sector. I think you'd want to stay with us till the end so that you will get this exciting information because this is literally for you guys, right? I'm going to let my guest introduce herself, introduce what we're going to be doing today, and just I'm excited about it already. And just tell us what she has for us. So, yeah. So, over to you, please.
Thanks a lot, Tochi, and thank you for having me here. It's amazing to be here with you and your awesome community. My name is Lola Femi, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer at 10 Analytics. And maybe some of you have heard about 10 Analytics, maybe you haven't because we've been on Tochi's live a couple of times. So if this is your first time in the community, I'm guessing what you probably be wondering is what is 10 Analytics. And if it's not your first time, you want to know how 10 Analytics can help you. I'm going to start with saying that 10 Analytics is an ed tech, and we are focused on giving you all the tools that you need, all of the support and the resources that you need to pivot from where you are right now into a tech career. Now, a lot of people think that making a transition into a tech career is just about learning the skills. But it does go beyond that. Beyond learning the skills, you need to be employable. You need to prove in the markets that you have the skills. You need to show employers, you need to show recruiters You need to demonstrate to them that you understand their business and you understand how to drive value in their business. And that is something that we've been for over 5 years. And in that time, we have helped over 4,000 people break into tech careers across the world. I'm talking in the UK, in the US, in Canada. We have a framework that works, that is repeatable. And we use this to help people just like yourself. Maybe you're from a technical background, maybe you're not from a technical background. We use this to help people break into careers. Now, one program that we just started recently is health tech, the health tech analyst. And what is a health tech analyst? This is someone who is fantastic at data. Above all, this is someone who has in healthcare. So if you work in care, if you are a doctor, if you've worked in the medical field, and this is something that interests you, this is your opportunity to break into tech. A lot of times, some people, one of the biggest challenges that they have breaking into tech is, oh, I don't have transferable skills. I'm not sure where to start from. I've never done this before. How in the world am I going to make a switch and actually be successful at it? But if you already have a background in healthcare, then you are positioned at the right place. And this is the kind of conversation we're going to be having today. But like Tochi said, even though you don't have a background in healthcare, Analytics offers various courses, cybersecurity analysis, business analysis, HR analysis, as well as a couple of others. So I'm hoping that you will stay with us. If you have any questions, please let us know. I do have something very interesting prepared for everyone that I'm going to be walking you through, and I would look forward to answering your questions at the end of this session. So once again, thank you so much for having me here, Tochi. Looking forward to having an amazing and super impactful time with your community.
Thank you so much, Lola, for joining and for coming to share with us today. So, guys, if you are in the healthcare sector, please stay with us, okay? Because you're really going to get value from this video. Lola is going to be sharing with us, just giving us a very concise presentation to explain better to us everything we need to know and why we need to transition. Because, guys, trust me, a lot of things are going on now. If you're a healthcare worker, especially support worker, you need to watch this video. Okay, you need this information more than anything else. Trust me, take it from me. So please, Lola, we're ready when you are.
Okay, fantastic. I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Okay. All right. Awesome. And my screen is up. Can you confirm that you can see my screen, please, Tochi?
Yeah, you can see it.
Awesome. All right. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking about health tech. And I already gave you, an idea of what Analytics is about, an idea of what we do. I'm just going to talk briefly about this again. um, if you look up Analytics online, one thing that you're going to find is lots and lots of videos, testimonials of people who have transitioned. And this is because one of the ways that, the major way that we say this is the outcome that we've driven and this is the results that we've gotten is not by the number of people who come into Analytics and take courses, but by the number of people who come back and say, hey, I got a job. And I always tell people this, for every one person who comes back and shares their testimonial and shares their story with us of how we impacted their lives, there are 10 other people who never come forward with their stories because, maybe they just do not like to be on camera or for whatever reason they want to keep it to themselves. So a lot of times, we don't get these stories back. But one thing I can guarantee you is that we have a framework that we have done for the last 5 years. We have repeated it over and over again. And with this, we have been able to drive results. So you can go on, Coursera, you can go on Udemy and others, and you can learn a new skill. And that's not to say that it's not going to be fantastic, but we have a strong community. We have instructors who have done this again and again and again. Instructors who have taken people from I'm not sure where I want to be at to, I'm a data analyst and I know exactly what I'm talking about in a couple of months. And they have done this over and over and over again, thousands of times. And because of this, they have perfected it. And those are the people who are going to be walking you through and teaching you, holding your hands and showing you how you can step into your new career path. So keep that in mind that we have done this over and over again. Now, if you have a career, if you have a background in healthcare, you have what I would call a gold mine, and you don't even know it. But I want you to look at this image, just look at this. This might be you right now. You might be feeling exhausted. You might be feeling underappreciated, wondering if, this is all that there is for you. But what nobody has told you is that you have what I call a gold mine because you understand a couple of things. You understand patient workflows. You understand things like clinical terminology. You understand hospital operations, medical coding, compliance. Do you know how long it takes a computer science graduate to learn that? It takes them years. And as a matter of fact, some people never do. Every tech company that is building healthcare products, from electronic health record systems to telemedicine platforms to AI diagnostic tools, they are desperate for someone who actually understands how healthcare works from the inside. And that someone is you. And you're going to find lots and lots of opportunities like this the moment you step into this career path. But you see, the problem is that you are scared to move. And I completely get it, I completely get that fear that you have. You've invested years into your qualifications. Your identity is wrapped up around being a nurse, you're a carer, a doctor. Moving feels like you're starting over. So why in the world should you do that? If you're here, if you're on this session with us today, it's because you're asking yourself the same question and you're looking for something that can convince you. So why in the world should you listen to Lola? Now, I think it matters who is telling you this. And one thing you need to keep in mind is that I have done this before. I have been on both sides of the table, actually. I have wondered, what is the next path for me and, what exactly do I do? Now, the good thing is that I've worked in tech all my life and all my career. So for me, one thing I always wondered is, okay, what do I want to go into next? I have this skill and I'm looking for something because I was always very interested in trying new things until I found operations and it felt like the perfect fit for me. Which is one reason why we always advise people when they come into analytics is do something that aligns with you, maybe your background or your personality. But if it's something that feels more like you would never feel like you're working. And even when you do, you're going to be happy working. So I have been on both sides of the table and ask myself a couple of questions. How do I get into this career path? What is the best place for me to start? And it's what part of that unique perspective that I bring to this and I'm bringing to this conversation today that I think would be immensely helpful for you. As the COO of Analytics, I help people like you build pathways. I help people like you build processes and systems that make your success repeatable in the market. And again, I have done this over and over again. I have moved from products management, I moved from projects to product. And then from products management, I moved to marketing, to growth marketing. And then from that, I moved to operations. So when it comes to career transitions, I know a couple of things and I know how to do it successfully. And I'm going to tell you one thing that's critical: having a strong background, and that is you, having something that connects you with whatever it is that you are looking to go into is one of the best things that you can do. However, a lot of people sell themselves short. They think that, when you talk about transferable skills, it has to be something that is directly connected to that thing. I'll give you an example. Say, you are a teacher and maybe a parent comes into your class one time and she's so pissed off. She's yelling, she's saying, hey, you gave my child too much homework. Who in the world do you think you are? And she's just yelling. And at that point, you have two options. You can either yell back or you can try to de-escalate. So you choose the latter and you de-escalate. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Would you like a cup of water? Would you like tea? Or would you like to sit down? I'm so sorry you feel this way, but let me explain to you where I'm coming from. So I gave your child this, at that point you are managing someone who is very pissed off, someone who was very annoyed, and because of the way you're talking to them, they calm down. So you have de-escalated the situation. That is what we call stakeholder management. Now, a lot of people do not realize that this in itself is a transferable skill. Maybe you're home for a while and you maybe manage your family's finances because you're home for a while. Maybe you were a stay at home mom for a couple of years and you were managing your family's finances, and somehow you were able to always have just enough to make it through the month. That in itself is a transferable skill. So even though you have never worked in the technical field before or in tech before, there are skills that you have that you don't even know are transferable skills. And that is what we're going to be helping you identify. Now, before we go into that, I do want to share one of my favorite stories in analytics with you. Now, this is the story of Judith. Judith was working as a carer in the UK. However, Judith also had a background in HR, and this was back in Nigeria. But like many of you, Judith was doing care work just to get by, while studying. Now, the pay that Judith was getting, it was modest. The hours that she worked, it was brutal. And deep down, Judith knew that she just wanted more for herself. Now, Judith decided one day, she said, you know what, I'm going to take a bet on myself. Judith enrolled in our business analysis program and she completed it in March 2024. Now, 3 months later, just 3 months later, Judith landed a business analyst role in the US, working remotely in the UK. Now, from care work, Judith moved to working in the US in a tech role. Same woman, same brain, different skills, different stories. So the question isn't whether or not this is possible, it's whether you are ready to stop wondering if it is possible and actually take a chance on yourself. I'm going to be sharing a couple of stories as we go in, but one thing to keep in mind is that you can go on our YouTube page and you can check out the stories, because sometimes they're so amazing that some people actually go, is that true? You can go on our YouTube page and check out these people. You can go on LinkedIn and you can check out their names as well and send them a DM. Or you can just go on LinkedIn and just type in analytics, and then you're going to see a couple of our students who post about analytics, and you can send them a DM and say, hey, I would love to know what your experience, learning with analytics was like, and hear from them. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, okay, Lola, that sounds amazing, but what do I actually have that tech companies even want? I'm going to break that down for you. Now, the first thing you have is deep domain knowledge and intuitive problem solving. What this means is that you don't just know healthcare, you feel it. You sense when something is off, before a dashboard tells you, because you've done this, you've probably done this for years. Now, pillar 2 is that, you have built-in professional network and user access. So this means that you already know the doctors, you know the nurses, you know the administrators, you know the patients, the people that you work with directly. And tech companies spend millions trying to get feedback from these people directly, because this is exactly what their industry is, or who their products, who their solutions are built for. Pillar 3 is pattern recognition in healthcare data. So you've most likely seen a lot of patients, you've seen a lot of cases, you've seen a lot of systematic failures to spot patterns that a pure data analyst person is going to completely miss, because you are deep in the system, or you have been deep in the system. Now, the fourth pillar is empathy for users' needs and patient safety. So what that means is that you're not just going to be designing for users on a whiteboard. You're not connecting. You're not coming into an industry where you don't have enough experience. You have done this before. You have worked with people like this before. You've seen the best of the system. You've seen the worst of the system, and that level of empathy is irreplaceable in health tech. There is something that we say in tech. We call it empathy, design thinking. It's sort of when you approach a problem and you put yourself in the shoes of the person, in the shoes of the group that you are solving the problem for. This is it's a major asset for anyone to have in the tech world, because when you think about it, the tech world is all about solving problems, right? But sometimes people get stuck in their heads thinking, oh, I've got a really fantastic way to solve this problem. But if you do not put yourself in your market shoes, the people that you are actually solving this problem for, whatever data it is that you get would most likely be incorrect, and you might end up optimizing or solving the wrong problem. And this is why people who have domain knowledge are irreplaceable. So now I've just covered top level, high level, what your unfair advantage is. And I use the words unfair advantage on purpose because that is exactly what it is. In a world where every tech company is trying to break into healthcare, and I do mean it, every tech company is trying to break into healthcare. You already live there, you already speak the language. Let me show you exactly what I mean. And when I say that every tech company is trying to break into healthcare, if there's one thing that will never run out of style, hello, it is health. Everybody wants to be healthy in one way or the other. If it's, trackers that monitor your health, or dashboards that can tell when to, everybody wants to be healthy. So there's so many opportunities and so many ways to break in, and lots of tech companies are doing this, and this is creating an explosion of opportunities for people like you to take advantage of. Now, let's talk about, the first pillar and really break it down. What is your unfair advantage? Number one is that you understand how healthcare operations actually work, not the textbook version, the messy, complicated, very, very human version. For example, you know why the intake form gets ignored. You know why maybe handover fails at 7 a.m. Maybe the person who's supposed to start your shifts, maybe that person starts late, and then a couple of things happens, like dominoes, every one thing falls and then everything else follows. You've been in that system, you've had to live with that dread. You know why certain patients maybe might not follow discharge instructions. You speak the language that connects frontline operations to data. So when a data team says something like, oh, our red mission rate is up, you don't just see a number, you see the single mom who was discharged, maybe she was discharged too early because there weren't enough beds. And you see this because you're able to see the human reality behind the numbers. That is not a soft skill. That is one of the most important skills in health tech. One of the most important skills. And trust me when I tell you this, it makes you a beast in this field. Now, the second pillar is your built-in professional network and user access. Your network is your launchpad, and I want you to think about it. You already have access to healthcare professionals across settings. I'm talking hospitals, clinic, care homes, You have coffee with the people that health tech products managers would pay thousands to interview. When you build a portfolio project, it won't be based on fake data from the internet. It's going to be based on your actual life. I have I have a couple of friends, who work in care, and some of them have left care. Some of them are still working in care. And one of the very interesting things for some people, like I have a friend who actually loves it. She loves to help people. She's very passionate about it. She works with kids, and she says the funniest stories. People like, oh, today, I was fighting for my life, and it's the it's the funniest stories, and that's why I said, you have access in a way that other people do not. The level of empathy that you have is very different from someone who is looking at it from the outside. So when you build a project, it's not going to be based on data that you had to go download off the internet. It's going to be grounded in real operational input. And that is authenticity that screams credibility to hiring managers. And one thing that nobody tells you is many health tech companies, they actually hire internally first. So if you are already in hospital system, and you upskill, you now have access to internal tech opportunities, and then you also have built-in credibility, so you could get referred for that role on the inside, or you could just decide you want to step outside and get yourself other opportunities. And this is for people who are already working in the field. It's so much easier for you to transition. Now let's talk about the third pillar, which is pattern recognition in healthcare data. Your insights are 10 times more valuable than someone who just knows SQL. This is because you instinctively understand the why behind the numbers. So, for example, when a data set shows a spike in A&E admissions on Friday night, a data analyst is just going to report the spike. That's a regular data analyst. But you know that it's because GP surgeries maybe close at 5 p.m. and patients have nowhere else to go. That is contextual intelligence that cannot be taught in a boot camp. And it's one of the things that makes you an asset in this field if you already work in this field. Now, number two is that you quickly spot the complexity that is hiding in averages. So you're able to pick out data from what is just right there in your face, because again, you have access. This is something that you do all the time. This is probably a truth that you have lived yourself. And then number three is that you recognize systematic problems, not just individual failures. So when something goes wrong, you don't just fix the incident. You don't just see the incident itself. You see the broken system. You know exactly what made it break. You're able to create your report in a way that traces it right back to the source, not just report on what is at the top. That kind of thinking is what makes a healthcare data analyst truly extraordinary. Someone who already has deep understanding of the industry, knows instinctively where to go in order to find the right information. Now, finally, last but not least, deep empathy for user needs and patient safety. This is the pillar that makes a lot of people who pivot into this field. It makes them really. I think it's one of the most passionate things here, because this is a pillar that is more about who you are than what you know. So you know that patients do not follow what we call NEAT protocols. You've watched a diabetic patient, eat cake right after their consultation. You've watched a child, do something they probably should not be doing, definitely not healthy for them. You've watched them do it, and this is stuff that probably is not being captured by people who don't have that level of insight, who don't have that level of access to these people. And this is something that you have. You've seen elderly patients skip medications, maybe because the packaging is probably too difficult to open. This is data. Fantastic data that a lot of healthcare companies do not have. And because of this, you are able to optimize for the human experience. And that is exactly what health tech desperately needs. They need people who understand the human experience on a fundamental level. You're also able to balance efficiency with safety, dignity, and quality of care. Most tech people would optimize for speed. Honestly, I would optimize for speed. You would optimize for outcomes that don't hurt people and still deliver results. So you design, you solve, and you optimize for real humans. And that is something that someone who is, maybe just product driven, someone who doesn't have that experience, people like myself would not have that context and would not be able to see things the way you see things. That is your superpower. Now let's quickly talk about the kind of roles that you can pivot into. If you decide to go for health tech. So you have healthcare business analyst, clinical analyst, healthcare data reporting analyst, healthcare informatics specialist. So many roles that you could pivot into: pathology data analyst, clinical decision support analyst, medical imaging analyst, healthcare AI engineer. But the thing is, the opportunities here are endless, and the sky is your limit. You're the only person who can limit yourself here. You get to decide how far you want to go. Now, I want to share one more story with you, one more very exciting story. This is Ikmat. And Ikmat was a full-time stay-at-home mom. She was a full-time stay-at-home mom in the UK, and she also had a 2-year employment gap. Now, if you know how the UK market is, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. When it's not easy for you to get a job, first of all, and then you now have a 2-year employment gap on your resume. Ikmat had not been working, she had not been earning, and to most recruiters, Ikmat was invisible. So Ikmat joined our data analytics program, and in January 2024, she landed a job with the NHS as an information analyst. And she also got, get it, full visa sponsorship. Now, if Ikmat with a 2-year career gap and zero tech experience can do this, what is your excuse? You have no excuse. And I say that with love because I need you to stop telling yourself stories about why you can't, and start paying attention to the evidence that you absolutely can. So, what does a healthcare data analyst do? I want to help you demystify this. A healthcare data analyst is someone, a professional who would analyze healthcare and clinical data to support better medical decisions, to reduce costs, to improve operational efficiency, and improve business outcomes. So that's it. You are taking data, and by the way, this is data in its rawest form, the same kind of patient data that you already interact with, and then you're going to turn that data into insights that save lives and save money. So I want you to look at the example on the screen. This is hospital admissions, length of stay, medical conditions, department data. You already know what most of this means. The only difference is that right now you are experiencing this data. After training, you would be analyzing it, you would be visualizing it and making recommendations that change how hospitals operate. So in this case, this is this data and this is the data visualized. And you can work from anywhere. You can work anywhere. You can work with hospitals, you can work with healthcare systems, government health agencies, health tech companies, health insurance companies, NGOs, public health organizations, pharmaceutical companies. The entire world opens up to you. So this is not about living healthcare. This is about serving healthcare at a higher level with better pay, with better hours, and bigger impact. So, like I said, if this is something that you are interested in, there is no better time for you to get into health tech. So here is your formula if you are ready to step into it, and I hope that you are. It's very simple. The healthcare domain knowledge, that is the thing that you already have, plus data analytics skills, the thing that we teach you, equals a new career with global earning potential. In the UK, healthcare data analysts, earn an average of about £52,000. In Canada, it's 103. In the USA, it's 110. And these are not even senior roles. These are the roles that our graduates are landing. And what do you need to learn in order for you to get started? You're going to be learning things like Power BI, like Tableau, data storytelling, ChatGPT for analytics, Microsoft Fabrics for analytics. That's it. All of this, we're going to teach you all of these tools. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking to yourself, Tolu, Bolu, I'm not a healthcare person. I've never written a line of code. How in the world am I going to do this? I don't know how to pivot into tech. Well, neither did Ikmat, and neither did Judith. Neither had over 4,000 people. Neither had any of those people who came through our programs, well, at least a large majority of them, and now many of them are earning tech salaries in the UK, in the US, in Canada, and the rest of them in different parts of the world. So the real question is, are you ready to step in? How much longer are you going to wait? Because every month that you delay is a month someone with half your healthcare knowledge but double your tech skills takes a takes a pay home that should have been yours. So do not let that happen. You absolutely deserve this. Now, how do you learn into analytics? We teach you in a project-based environment. We teach you in an environment where you do the work, and this environment is what helps you also build your portfolio, the same portfolio that opens up the world to you. Like I said, this is not just about teaching you new skills. This is about making you employable in the market. So beyond learning a fantastic new skill, you are also learning the employability aspect, which is how to navigate the world, how to navigate the employment world. Now, this is just an idea of some of the projects that you're going to have in your portfolio. We've got really interesting case studies here. This is a case study of a hospital. This is a case study of a pharmacy. I'm just going to quickly click on this so you can take a look at this. This is someone's portfolio, by the way. This is what you share. This is what you have in your resume that really makes you stand out to recruiters, that makes you stand out to employers, that makes them say, huh, you really do know your stuff, right? So this is what they want to see before they hire you. They want to see that you've done something like this before. Now you can learn on YouTube, you can learn, on Udemy and Coursera and all of that. But where are you going to find a team that would hold your hands through this, that would give you help? And I'm going to say help, I mean in terms of, what jobs am I going to apply to? We scrape job boards, and then we give you hundreds of jobs that you can apply to, so you don't have to do this yourself. And it's not your regular, not your Indeed, not your LinkedIn, but paid job boards that we partner with. So while you're pairing that, while you're applying on Indeed and LinkedIn, you also have access to hundreds of roles that we provide to you in our community, in order for you to break into the tech career path. So beyond learning, you are also applying. And while you're doing this, we work on your resume for you. We give you the perfect template so you can get past ATS, which is the applicant tracking system. You're also learning a project-based environment, which means that you are building dashboards like this that helps you become visible in the market to employers. This was built, this is sales trends and profitability analysis with generative AI. This is exactly what recruiters want to see, because for them, it is all about impact. And this is part of what we're going to be helping you build. We're going to be teaching you the skills for you to put this together. Okay, so what does this look like for you? You come into Analytics, your learning is broken into 8 months. 6 months you spend in Analytics, and then 2 months you move to Andari to complete your internship. And then while you're doing that, you are also building your portfolio. You get your resume, your portfolio. We also help you out with LinkedIn optimization and a bunch of other things as well that makes you employable in the market. So let's put this together. You learn your data analytics skills with absolute focus and commitment, because at the end of the day, a fantastic idea is great, but you know what really makes it fantastic? What takes it to the next level? It's execution. Now, the second level is package, and package is where you gain your experience. It's where we provide you with LinkedIn optimization. We provide you with projects, and then you also have access to like real cases as well, because you work in that field. You can use that knowledge to build fantastic portfolios, and then you also have access to fantastic projects as well while you're in the program. You also gain access to mentorship sessions that happen once a week, where you get to meet with people, have conversations, you learn job application strategies. You also get to work with a community of people who are just like you, many of them in the same time zone, many of them located in the same area where you are located. So when I say that 10 Analytics is all about community, trust me when I say I do not say that lightly. Another thing is interview preparation. So if you have 10, 15 interviews in a week, feel free to book a prep session where we're going to have someone sit with you, talk to you, and help you prepare. What kind of questions are you most likely going to get in the interview? We also provide you with job references as well. So you will need 10, 20, 50 job references. We're going to do that for you. We also encourage people, as soon as you join our programs, just go to your LinkedIn, update it with, update yourself on LinkedIn as a consultant in Analytics. And you can go check us out on LinkedIn. You see exactly what I'm talking about. When you pair all of this with quality application, not quantity, mind you, quality, you are going to get exactly what you are looking for, which is a job. So that is what we call the LPA system. Okay, so do not forget 6 months learning, 2 month internship. We have our classes Mondays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK time, and then in the evening, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. UK time, and this happens on Saturdays. That's when we have a live class. And then you also have access to your self-paced videos. You can watch this anytime. We have mentorship sessions as well. This happens every Thursdays at 10 p.m. and then also happens on Thursdays, 8 p.m. MST. So this is just a story of Toyin, who was a pharmacist in Nigeria, and then Toyin made a pivot to become a pharmacy data analyst with the NHS after studying after taking the analytics data analytics program. So this is just another proof that it is possible. Toyin did this and she landed a job as a benefits analyst with the NHS, and she also got this with full visa sponsorship. So not sure what your motivation is, but if you are ready to get started, we offer this for $1,250, but guess what? It's currently discounted at 1,000, 20% off, which means that you can get started with $200. And when I say you can get started with $200, you can pay in tranches. You can spread your payments apart and pay in tranches. So you don't even have to pay the entire fee for you to get started. So I'm just quickly going to show you what that looks like. If you're ready to get started, you want to go to 10analytics.io. Okay, you want to go to 10analytics.io, and then you want to navigate to where we have our courses. You just want to click on, the Start Learning here that you can see on your screen here. When you click on Start Learning, you're going to see a drop down, and that drop down is where you need to go to. Okay, I guess this is all right. So you can see this. I'm just going to quickly click on this. So yes, you just want to come here. This is the link, and then you can pay for the course Data Analytics. So the next cohort starts March 7th. And March 7th isn't far. I think it's in the next 1 week. So if this is something that you are ready to get started in, you need to sign up right now. You need to sign up right now. Do not waste time. I have a million tabs open, so I guess that's probably why this is happening. So I'm just going to reload it. But again, just go to 10analytics.io and then click on Start Learning, and then you see a drop down. You can go to the data analytics section and you can register for the course. So like I said, the next cohort starts March 7th, and this is something that you don't want to miss out. In the next 1 week, you could be starting the next chapter of your life, and you could be doing something really amazing, something that you've always wanted to do, but you've never really taken a chance on yourself. So I would advise that you get started as soon as possible. So this is it. This is you just come here, you click on enroll now. It's a very easy and simple process, and before you know it, you're in and you're getting started. You're starting the next phase of your life pretty much. And then you can also join our community as well. You can take a clarity session, you can join our master classes, and then in the clarity session you get to talk to career consultants, you get to ask them questions, you get to have one-on-one sessions, talk about your background and talk about what your motivation is, and then they get to they say things like, okay, so this is what I think is best for you to do. But if you are here and you have a career in healthcare, then I would suggest that you just go for data analytics, the health tech analysis program. That is exactly where you want to be. If you're interested in tech, but you do not have a healthcare background, then you're looking at doing something else like business analysis, like cybersecurity, like agile projects management. There are a couple of courses that are just the perfect fit for you. It's not data analytics exactly. Then you want to go to analytics.io and check it out. You also want to join our community and also book a clarity call, and then have a one-on-one with a career consultant who ask you questions about your background, get to know you better, and then make the right recommendation for you. So I guess that's pretty much it. Thank you so much once again, Tochi. I'm just going to pack up here. I know I've spent quite some time talking about this. I think I even spent more time than I initially planned. But I do hope that we took out a couple of things from that, and I'm really looking forward to the people who are ready to get started in the next phase of their lives. It's 2026, guys, and it's going by really, really fast. I could swear that yesterday was December 2025, and the rest of the year is before you know it, we're H1 is gone, we're in H2. So if you are ready to get started, I would encourage you to just take charge, do it, get started now. What's the worst thing that could happen? You could shock yourself, and you could see yourself in the next couple of months doing that career that you've always wanted to do, working in tech and, earning a much higher salary with way more freedom and more opportunities for you. So I look forward to seeing you in our community. I don't know if anyone has any questions for me. I'm just going to throw this back to Tochi. So, if anyone has any questions, I'm here to answer. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much, Lola. Thank you very much. That was quite insightful and thorough. So, guys, just I'm sure we all have heard from her everything that she said. If you have any questions, please drop it in the chat. It's time for us to take some questions just before we go, okay? Um, so please drop the question. I'll just try to read them out. And then I also have the links. I posted the links. I posted two links on the chat. The first one is the link to join the WhatsApp community that Lola talked about. Just click on the link and join. I'm also going to leave it in the description of this video. So for those who are just joining or those that will be watching it later on after we have ended this live, this video is going to be on YouTube. So don't worry about it. You can always rewatch it. So this link will also be in the description as well. And then there's also the second link, which is the link to register. Um so just click on it and register. I'm sure she already explained everything that you need. So yeah, let's start with questions. So guys, feel free to drop your questions, okay? So someone says, are the classes live or recorded because I may be at work sometimes?
Yeah, so both. You get to watch me. You get videos that you can watch at your time at your convenience. So you have videos in your LMS, and you can watch them just like a Coursera, Udemy. But then we also blend that with live classes as well. So that's why we call it like a blended learning approach. So it's live videos, and then it's also videos that you can watch at any time in your dashboard inside of your LMS. For the live classes happen during the weekends, happens on Saturdays, and then those classes are also recorded. So we offer them in the morning and in the evening at different times, but then it's also recorded. So if you miss any of the live classes, you can always catch up on the recording because that would be uploaded to your classroom. And then you always have access to send your facilitator a message as well if you need help. And you also have access as well to a community that is learning at the same pace that you are, so you can always reach out for help at any point. But I think one of the biggest concerns, especially for people who are working, and a lot of people in our community are working and also learning at the same time, is I'm working, I've got things that I'm doing, I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to manage this and manage that. And what I would always say is that you have a community that you can lean on, and then you also have facilitators that you can reach out to for help. And then all of these classes are recorded. So even though you manage to miss one, two, or three classes, it's not going to feel like you weren't in class because you have access to your recording. And above all, you can always reach out for support when you need it. Tochi, if you're speaking, you're muted.
Sorry. Guys, do we have more questions, please? I know she was very thorough and she would have covered a lot of, because I don't even have any questions for her because she covered basically everything you would have asked. But if you still have any question right now, she's here for you. So please feel free to use this opportunity to ask her any question that you might have, okay?
Okay. I don't know if people are shy though. Okay. Well, if you don't have any questions, well, I would say that I have a question for you though. If you're here, then it's certainly because you're after something. There's a need. There's a reason why you joined this. We all have very busy lives. You're not going to take out 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour out of your very busy life and then join a useless session. Nobody wants to do that. If you're still on the call, it's because you're finding some value in it. You don't have that time to waste. Trust me, I do not as well. So I would say that, what exactly are you scared of? What is the worst thing that could happen? You could break into a career path that could be exactly what you've always wanted. When we launched health tech, we actually didn't even think that health tech was going to be as big as it has gotten. Health tech is a new program that we just started, and that was because we noticed that there was this huge need in the market. When I first started, I mentioned that analytics is heavily focused on outcomes. So that means that for us, it's not just about you coming in to come learn a new course, it's about your job outcomes. So everything that we do is focused on that, which is pairing your skills with employability. And that also means that all the courses that we were offering had to be courses that could give you access to opportunities in markets like the UK, the US, and Canada. And I'm talking massive opportunities that are high paying. And you know the kind of jobs that are high paying? It's because they're in high demand. So we focused on this for years. And then we began to notice that there was this one job that was also in high demand. A lot of people were making shifts towards that, and that was in health tech. We kept on watching that data and we saw that it was starting to rise. We saw that there were lots and lots of companies. I'm talking companies like Apple, like Google, like Amazon, were slowly moving towards healthcare. And we're doing things in that field because, again, it is massive. Every single person wants to be healthy. Every single person. I think health is one currency that a lot of people cannot even afford. It's amazing, but then there's so many opportunities in health, so many, and it's exploding right now. And that was when we realized, wait a minute, there's a lot of opportunities in this market, and that was why we started the health tech school because there's so much opportunity. So if you are at that point where you have the background and you're just thinking to yourself, what is the next step for me? I would advise that you just take a chance on yourself and you just get into this. Again, like I said, what is the worst thing that could happen? Give yourself the next 2, 3 months. We also offer pay in tranches model, so you don't even have to pay in full. If you do decide to pay in full, it's $850. You get to save instead of paying 120 1,250, you get to pay 850. But then you could decide to pay 200, and you could take it one step at a time and see how you like it. And if you don't like it, you could always pull out. But I can assure you that this is something that would completely change the trajectory of your life and your career. Otherwise, Tochi would have kicked us out of that community a long time ago.
Yes, I have so many people from here that made use of some of these opportunities in the past, and today they have testimonies. Okay, so please, um, guys, it's something you should look into. Just consider it, and I'm sure you'll be glad that you did. Because one thing that is very setting, or one thing that I know is that as a migrant, anywhere you are, even in fact, as a person, as a human being, as an adult that wants a good life, that want better from life, it's always good to upskill. Try not to be comfortable where you are. Try to always do things, get new skills, that would help you earn better, live better, and give you the kind of life that you deserve. So if you feel like where you are is not giving you what you need, so maybe that means it's time for you to upskill, try something new. Okay, and it's never too late. So yeah, someone says, the same person says, I am currently on a health and care visa. Can I still do this course?
Absolutely, you can. But I just want to be sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, absolutely you can. I would say that it's perfect for people like you as well. This is the perfect course for you to take. You absolutely can do this. And then like I mentioned, there's so many opportunities in this field. You don't have to. I showed a lot of opportunities. I'm just going to quickly share my screen again, Tochi, if you would permit me um, to just quickly do this because I do want to show something real quick. Um, so I spoke about all of the career paths that you can move into, and I just want to quickly highlight that. So it doesn't have to be one, you know. Let me just share this again. Um, okay, so you could move into healthcare business analysis, healthcare informatics specialist, clinical decision support analyst, medical imaging analyst, healthcare AI engineer. This completely opens up the world to you and gives you access to opportunities that you probably never even knew existed. So considering where you're at right now, what you're currently doing, this is the perfect time I would say for you to pivot into this and for you to take for you to join the health tech school because it opens up a world of opportunities to you and you're at that perfect place. You're at what I would call the sweet spot. It's just the perfect fit for you right now. So if you do still have any questions or maybe any hesitations, you might want to come in and have a conversation with our career consultant. But I can tell you 100% that this is the perfect fit for you. As a matter of fact, health tech was built for people with just your background. So you absolutely should consider doing this. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
Can you believe I've been talking since? I didn't realize I've been on mute. I just kept talking. She's back.
I was going to stop sharing my screen and then
Yeah, I see God. But it's okay. It's fine.
Okay, so I hope I answered your question. I don't know if anyone else has any other questions for me. You can drop your questions in the chat.
Yeah, so there is no other questions so far. Hi, Tochi. It's long I came across your videos. Really? I've been posting videos regularly. Please check. Okay. So I don't think we have any other question. No question anymore. And but I think you were pretty thorough though. You covered literally every question that somebody would have, asked. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
So
it
guys, feel
was.
free to click on the link and reach out to them, join the community, go and ask them all your questions, or contact them and just talk to them. Talk to them. I'm sure they will guide you and talk you through the whole process. Okay. Um yeah, no other questions. So yeah, thank you so much, Lola. Do you have any final words for us before we go?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. So I will just, at risk of sounds like a broken record, the year is going by really, really fast. So this is the best time for you to do that thing that you've always wanted to do. You are tired of your career, you want to try something else, you want to get into something else, you know that you could most likely be more. If you're 100% certain or if you're 2% certain, even that 2% is enough for you to take a chance on yourself and, give this a shot. So again, like I mentioned, if you don't have a background in healthcare and if you're looking to do something else, you want to go out, you want to join our community. We also offer a bunch of other courses in cybersecurity, like I mentioned, business analysis, agile projects management, DevOps, product design, as well as a couple of others. So if data analysis isn't something that feels right to you, we also offer a bunch of courses that might just be the perfect fit for your personality. And like I mentioned, this is entirely outcome focus. So these are jobs that gives you access to, high income, high demand opportunities across the UK, the US, and Canada. So if you're not sure which one is a perfect fit for you, click the link in the chat, join our community, book a call with our career consultants and ask them any questions that you have. And let them know, this is my background. I used to be a teacher and then I moved to the UK. I used to be a nurse and then I moved to the US. I'm not really sure what is the right fit for me. Could you guide me in the right direction? And hear what they have to say. One thing I can assure you is that you will never regret being a part of the 10 Analytics community. And for every single person here who decides to take that chance on themselves, I am looking forward to seeing you in class. Thank you so much for having me once again, Tochi. It's been fantastic being here.
Thank you for coming. And thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.